Okay, this is just a video summary of the topics that we talked about. Now, I know my hair is not perfect. I'm very sorry about that. So we talked about many things today. We talked about kind of the technology in China and some of the data centers. China is usually, the QR code is kind of taken over China. They're not using the currency so much there. For example, like Tibet. Tibet's a very sensitive issue around the world, but China really controls Tibet's data. Maybe at the University of Tibet, you can go to the data centers there. The differences too between China and Korea sometimes is maybe in other countries the wealth gap is very large, but in China that's not as important as maybe different ethnicities. You have different ethnic groups that don't agree. Maybe people who speak different languages or people with different ethnic and racial backgrounds. You could say races, but ethnic is more like culture. Ethnicities are more like culture, language, all these things mixed together. Anyway, we talked about that. We talked about Manchuria, kind of the history there, that the Chinese army, the Japanese army wasn't so strong there, and that a lot of Koreans were able to relocate. They were able to go there and kind of develop an independence movement, or the independence movement was stronger there against the Japanese. To implant the army, put the army, send the army, like this. We also had the word plunder, that like pirates will go to a city and plunder the city. That some of the Japanese plundered the resources of Korea and Japan, and China. Also here too, we talked a little bit about Trump, that now he's kind of wondering how did China become so popular or powerful? How did they get all the data? He might be asking that now. We talked about the purse strings, that the person who controls the spending has a lot of power in a country, in a company, wherever. So yeah, that's a summary of the things we talked about today. I think that's most everything. Lots of words, input the army. Oh, we talked about Machiavelli and the prince. Right. Okay, so it's fun.